always trust in you. You always fill my heart. You always fill my heart. I will always trust in you. I will trust in you. I will trust in you.
I will trust in you.
I will trust in you.
When the weak say I am strong
In the strength of the Lord, let the weak say I am strong. In the strength of the Lord.
The conference began with the welcome address by Ms. Farida Wahidi, the coordinator of the 7th IIC Head Youth Empowerment and Capacity Building City Montessori School.
As we had highlighted in the concept note of the conference, we live today at a particular time in the history of humanity that in spite of 70 years of efforts in the field of development, we are still faced with the stark reality that we have over 1.2 billion people living on just $1.20 a day. We can well imagine that poverty is the greatest challenge before all humanity. And it is important for people who are working in the field of development, or those who are practitioners as well as policy makers, to really relook at the materialistic approach to development thought that has dominated the trajectory of development thinking and practice for all these years, and to ask themselves the question, or to ask ourselves the question, what was the missing link? What is it that we have not taken care of and we need to look at in order to make sure that from now on, the efforts that we are making, whether at the level of individuals, or at the level of communities, or at the level of institutions of governance, that we ensure that we regard every child born into this world as the trust of the whole of humanity, and that every effort that we make, we ensure that that effort is towards making the future of that child sure, a future where the child can prosper, when this child can become a contributing member of the society.
The day's presentation was made by Honorable Dr. Justice Adil Omar Sharif from Egypt on the role of religion in development.
Distinguished participants, in all our previous conferences, we endeavored to encourage interfaith dialogue in the broadest sense of the word. This usually took the form of technical discussions among religious leaders on one end of the spectrum to local small groups of individuals whom we may call lay people on the other. We noted the importance of religious leaders in teaching their congregation about the significance of interfaith dialogue, and also in showing the commonalities among religions. We also concluded that the school is a very important site of interfaith dialogue. For if children are brought up studying and interacting with students of other faiths, they will grow up with a natural intuition to practice and indeed live interfaith dialogue. Thus, we highlighted the fact that teachers bear a great responsibility for teaching and cultivating interfaith in the classroom. Also, in all our previous conferences, we vocally announced that supporting and encouraging the practice of interfaith service is a worthy goal. And we realize that this service should involve members of different faiths working towards common ends. Indeed, it has always been imperative to us that we make efforts to involve followers of all the religions so that they have an opportunity to discuss the misconceptions that may have been on their minds. And then they try to acquire first-hand information about the commonalities among all the religions. It has also been equally important to us to involve the media and high-ranking media officials in particular, in order to further spread the message that there are many people devoted to interfaith dialogue and its goals that include, but not limited to, topics such as development, peace, justice, and fighting discrimination in whatever form it may take in the particular locality.
A presentation by the animators from Aliganj First Campus.
सलाम है उन सबको जो लखनऊ की पैदाइश हैं।
सलाम उनको भी जो परदेश से आके बसे हैं। ये वो शहर है दोस्तों जिसकी हर गली हर कूचे में तहजीब का असर है।
नस नस में बसी है गंगा जमनी तहजीब जो खिंचने पर दर्द देती है, दुखने पर नसीहतें और खुश हो तो
सारी कायनात को सराबोर कर देती है मदमस्त रंगों से। अरे साहिब, आप सोच रहे होंगे आए थे किस्सा सुनने और यहाँ तो मोहब्बतों की फहरिस्त खुल गई।
तो चलिए जनाब, देरी किस बात की, शुरू करते हैं किस्सा। ये बात है उस रात की, अजब काली स्याह थी वो रात। दिन था 6 दिसंबर सन 1992 की कर रहे हैं हम बात। एक सन्नाटा पसरा था सिर्फ शहर में नहीं बल्कि पूरे देश में।
आखिर अयोध्या में घट गई थी वो घटना जिसका हमें डर था। तोड़ दी गई थी मस्जिद, कहा जा रहा था पूरा होगा सपना, वहां बनेगा मंदिर राम लला का अपना।
पूरा देश तप्त, जनता बेबाक, हर कौम सहमी फिर भी खूंखार। कोई लगाए नारे, जब तक सूरज चांद रहेगा राम लला का नाम रहेगा, जब तक सूरज चांद रहेगा राम लला का नाम रहेगा। कोई अल्लाह को पुकारे,
कहीं घनघोर शिवनाद, कहीं या अली की गूंज,
और शैतानी लोग मिलकर उत्पात कर रहे खूब।
लगता था आज मानवता हार जाएगी।
प्रेम, सद्भाव, आपसी भाईचारे को रौनता हुआ ये मजहबी जुनून निगल जाएगा मासूम बच्चों को, निरीह औरतों को, बेघर बूढ़ों को
और तमाए मर्दों को जो बदले का चश्मा लगाकर सड़कों पर लामबंद थे, एक एक बूंद खून का हिसाब चुकता करने को।
गुंडो, मारो, छोड़ेंगे नहीं, क्या कायर हैं हम? चूड़ियां पहन रखी हैं क्या हमने? ईंट का जवाब बम से देंगे।
एक और भगवा लहर,
दूसरी ओर हरे की शोखी।
बस एक ही जगह थी पूरे देश में जिसने की इस सब की अनदेखी।
उन्माद था पर होश गुम नहीं हुए थे,
गुस्सा था पर जज्बात सुन नहीं हुए थे।
जी हुजूर, यही था चमन ए लखनऊ।
इतनी सख्त परीक्षा में भी इसके दीवानों ने सब्र का दामन नहीं छोड़ा था।
कहीं रवि के घर रफीक ने भूखे बच्चों के लिए दूध पहुंचाया था,
तो कहीं अनवर को आलोक ने उस रात अपने घर छिपाया था।
जब इंसानी दरिंदे वहशियों से पूरे शहर में डोल रहे थे, इस अमन, चैन, मोहब्बत के शहर की फिजा में नफरत का जहर घोल रहे थे। पर खबर कहाँ थी कि उनके मंसूबे कभी नहीं पहुंचेंगे अंजाम तक।
क्योंकि हर मोहल्ले हर दर से बंधी है ये दोस्ती की कड़ी, उठती है सलमान से पहुंचती है हर नाम तक। रहते हैं इसकी लपेट में
मंदिर, मस्जिद, गिरजे, गुरुद्वारे। साहिब, ये लखनऊ है। उस भयानक रात ने एक बहुत उजली सुबह देखी थी।
लखनऊ ही था साहिब, बस अयोध्या के मुहाने पर, जहां कौमी लड़ाई का एक भी वाकया सुनाई नहीं दिया था।
पूरे देश में लखनऊ शान था, जहां हिंदू और मुसलमान सबल होते हुए भी तैयार नहीं थे
अपनी एकता की बलि चढ़ाने को, किसी के उन्मादी बहकावे में आने को।
सभी जज्बातों के परे जाकर सोच रहे थे, इस घटना का अपनी जिंदगी में मतलब खोज रहे थे।
और साहिब, ये लखनऊ ही था जिसने कर्फ्यू के दिनों में खूब पतंगे उड़ाई। पतंग मनोज बनाता था तो मांझा दिलदार भाई। दोनों के साझे व्यापार में कोई कमी नहीं आई। बाहर निकल नहीं सकते थे, इसलिए छतें फिर गुलजार हो गईं।
सिद्दीकी मामा की यहाँ की सिवाई छतों छत पहुँचती थी रमन की गली, तो कहीं बिलाल, अमर, विनोद और फैजल पत्तों में कोट पीस परोसते रहते।
कहीं शिखर की नानी बाहर से आई आयशा आपा की बच्ची का स्वेटर सी रही थी, बड़बड़ा रही थी।
उठ ना जाए, अभी गले के फंदे तो उठाए नहीं है, क्या कहेंगे ससुराल वाले। नानी अपनी बच्ची को स्वेटर में भी पैसा तो काफी कर दी।
जी हुजूर, पूरे देश में अलग अलग जगह पर दंगे भड़काने का साजो सामान तैयार हो रहा था, और यहाँ लखनऊ में रिजवान और अब्बास चौक के फूल वाले से टेलीफोन पर मोलभाव कर रहे थे।
मनीषा दीदी की शादी का मंडप सजाना उन्हीं की जिम्मेदारी थी।
अब कर्फ्यू के चलते बैंड तो आ नहीं सकता, तो क्या फेरे भी सुने मंडप में पड़ते।
जी जान लगा दी। मौलवीगंज से चौक, सदर से आलमबाग, हर फूल वाले का दर खटखटाया गया। फिर हजारों गेंदों से सजे मंडप में कोतवाल रफीक खान की निगहबानी में फेरे पड़े।
और उस्मान भाई ने सिंधी मंदिर गोलागंज तक आई शादी की बारात को अपनी बस में पूरी महफूजियत से
लखनऊ की सरहद पार कराकर कानपुर पहुंचा दिया।
साहिब,
ये ही है लखनऊ, जहां मजहब के नाम पर दिवाली के दिए जलते हैं, ईद की नमाज अदा कर लोग गले मिलते हैं,
राखी पर धागों में लिपटा प्यार बांधते हैं, और तहजीब की सीमा कभी नहीं लांघते हैं।
गुस्से में भी हो तो कहेंगे हुजूर, हम आपको देख लेंगे,
और अकेले भी हो तो हम कदम भरेंगे।
अरे धर्म के व्यापारियों, ऐसे शहर को कैसे नफरत सिखाओगे। ये दावा है हमारा, अपने मुंह की खाओगे, क्योंकि हर दिल की धड़कन में शुमार है ये अल्फाज।
Professor Nathan Brown, Professor of Political Science and International Studies from South Africa, made a presentation on coping with religious differences in public.
We speak a lot here of, and we've spoken already, of the idea of religious unity. And this at first seems strange in a world where people seem so acutely aware of religious differences. Differences among followers of different religious traditions, and differences between those who are very religious in nature and those who are less motivated by religion. And we make the task of talking of unity and understanding even more difficult by bringing in the challenge of development, one of the greatest public policy challenges that the world faces today. I am going to try to explore how religion can be discussed in public and how difficult subjects, including differences over ultimate and fundamental values and traditions, can be brought into public and contribute fruitfully to public discussions, and how such understandings can be brought to bear on questions of development. I can hardly exhaust that topic today. What I'm going to try and do is to pick up from some of the themes that we heard from my good friend and colleague, Justice Adel Omar Sharif of Egypt in his previous address, and also engage as well with the concept note, which again lays out some challenging questions for us to consider. I will, therefore, as I say, not attempt to be exhaustive, but to throw out some ideas, and some ideas essentially on 6 different points. First, on the meaning of development. Second, on the relationship between religion and development. Third, on the nature of religious conflict. Fourth, on the idea of separation of religion from politics as a possible solution to religious conflicts and the shortcomings of that kind of an approach. And fifth, I will talk about some political ways to manage religious differences, and finally close by observing some non-political mechanisms. Those are 6 very, very large points, and as I say, I do not intend to address them finally, but simply to advance some of my own thoughts on these questions in the time allotted to me. So the first on the question of development. If we think of development historically, or if historically when we have thought about development as a public policy issue, generally economics comes to the forefront. And there's very good reasons for that. The way that if you want to make public policy in the issue of development, it becomes very easy to think in terms of measurable and achievable progress that can be made by looking at things like increases in gross domestic product, increases in personal incomes, and so on. If you're tasked with trying to improve society, if you're a public official or an expert in public policy, it can be very, very helpful to have useful yardsticks, metrics, measuring sticks in which to assess development, and so that you can design appropriate public policies and know which ones succeed and which ones fail, which ones are more appropriate in particular circumstances and which are less appropriate in specific circumstances. So it is therefore not surprising when you hear the term development, it is often linked with the term economic development. When you studied in the university, many of the core subjects that are taught in economics departments. There's much that is good in that kind of an approach, but of course there is much that is lost as well. Understanding development is primarily economic in nature, first appears to focus on the tangible, on what is real, rising incomes, figures that can be measured. But actually, even the idea of an economy is itself something of an abstraction. Focusing on development as economic development risks losing sight of the human being. It risks losing sight of the fundamental human reality, which should be the focus of all of our efforts.
I would now like to invite Mr. Roshan Gandhi Frohi, the Director of Strategy, City Montessori School, to kindly honor Sir.
The animators from the Junior Youth Empowerment Program of LDA campus made a presentation.
I am not religious. I am a humanist. Because for me, humanity is more important than any dogma and traditions. I believe that the true essence of religion lies in having a good heart. It is something left over from the infancy of our intelligence and can be faded away if we adopt reason and science as its guidelines.
Just give this all a rest. I'm sick and tired of watching the same old story from the past 2 centuries.
Who are you and who gave you the right to stop us?
We are the most superior species on the planet Earth.
You cannot claim yourself to be superior as we are the superior ones.
We have invaded all the planets of the galaxy, and you, creature, have the audacity to stop us.
War brought about a lot of bloodshed. It made people realize the horrors of war. Efforts were made to establish peace, but this time modernization ruined this entire realization from the inside. And religion, which was the binding force, became divisive. Leaders used religion to divide people and formed clans. The entire moral code we humans which were supposed to follow was disrupted, and the ethical code which religion had taught us was diluted.
Oh my God. Oh my. Dude, what are you doing?
Can't you see? I'm worshipping my God.
It's a stone.
It's not a stone, it's my God, and I have belief in it.
Beliefs or superstition?
Oh, hey, that's my God, and you can't say like that.
Hey, do you believe this madman? He actually believes in religion and God.
So
Don't
what?
forget
I do.
the life. Seriously?
Yes.
Ninkampu, seriously, is that you call a person who is religious, who believes in God?
What has your religion exactly given us? Just
Everything.
on the basis of casteism. That's it. Nothing else. And if your God is there, why is there so much poverty and suffering and destruction in this world? Shouldn't he take care of us? I mean, if he loves us.
Yes.
He does.
We exist because of God. Religion has given us an ethical way of living.
Knowing that things ain't right. It's in the papers, it's on the TV, it's everywhere that I go. Children are crying, soldiers are dying, some people don't have a home. But I know there's sunshine beyond that rain, I know there's good times beyond.
Thank you, friends, for such an informative presentation.
Dr. Muin Afnani, scientist, researcher and member from the National Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is from United States, gave a presentation on economic globalization and religion, a synergy for greater good.
The presentation here, as the title says, economic globalization and religion, a synergy for greater good. I must say at the outset that I'm not an economist. And there are other friends who have expertise in this field, and they will address the issue of economy per se. I'm looking at this topic more from sociological perspective. And I would also have to add that the concept of religion, it was amply talked about last night and this morning and in various presentations today by our dear youth and junior youth, is not well understood. There are different perceptions of religion, and these perceptions are cultural, contextual, and the word religion means different things to different people. Just to give you one example, in the West, it is not uncommon to hear the expression that someone says, so-and-so is very spiritual but doesn't believe in any religion. To someone from the Eastern countries, most people from the Eastern countries, that is baffling, that how can someone not believe in religion but be spiritual? But in the West, that is quite common and well understood. Religion, to some people, invokes deep spiritual thoughts and motivates people to action. To some others, invokes superstition and prejudice because of the long history of things that have been done in the name of religion. For the purpose of this talk, what I mean by religion are those fine emotions, are those spiritual eternal truth enshrined in all divine religions that motivate people to higher calling, to arise and serve their neighbor, to make sacrifice. That religion is a source of knowledge, is a means of investigating spiritual as well as social reality. That it is a uniting force and not divisive. I do admit that what is practiced in the name of religion with these definitions and descriptions are not always congruent. And unfortunately, because of lack of religious democracy in many sectors of the world, these perceptions have been created about religion. But that's why we are here today, to explore these topics together. Also, my thoughts are quite preliminary, so they're just some preliminary thoughts for consideration, that we explore how we can advance this particular angle of this discourse on development. As you have seen in the program, there are different topics of science and religion and so on and so forth, and this is just one angle. Let's see. So, as much as time allows, these topics are very extensive, involved, and I'm not sure I can get through my talk today. But I will try to touch on some of these areas, talk a little bit about prevalent theories on economic development and globalization, on market liberalization, and free market tempered with regulations. Some thoughts about trends in the last century, how the globalization has evolved, the nature of political and civic institutions and their relationship to this topic, and ecological considerations. I don't think I'll have time to discuss some practical aspects that the Baha'i community has experienced over the last 100 and some years. And hopefully there's time to make a few comments on a conceptual framework based on these eternal principles of religion. So, to get started, let me just make sure that we can see that in spite of several decades of development programs and activities by organizations at all levels, the increasing economic gap between the rich and the poor around the world has heightened the need for new perspectives on economic development policies. Over the last 2 decades, economic hyperglobalization has contributed to income disparity. While a small segment of the world population has benefited from this phenomenon, further economic polarization has occurred between the haves and the have-nots. Just to give you one example, according to the 2015 data, the income based, the median income based on parity in China was $7,700 per person. In India was $3,600 per person. And we should note that a large number of multi-billionaires in the world, among the top 50 richest people in the world, live in these 2 countries.
Animators of Station Road campus.
As in this story, we can see the entire society lives with peace and harmony, thus portraying what every religion preaches and what has become the need of the hour, and that is living in unity along with diversity.
One planet, one people. Please God, we may achieve it.
Thank you.
A presentation by Ms. Tahareen Danesh, Executive Director, Persia Educational Foundation, spoken human rights education and character building.
I have developed in my, at my mid-age, I've developed a heart condition which is puzzling the doctors, and they're not quite sure what it is. It turns out that it's a new kind of condition, and many people who have experienced trauma in childhood are starting to manifest these signs. Now, many of you may look at me and hear my accent and see my skin and think, you know, here I am, an affluent woman from the West. But what we may not recognize is that once upon a time I was a refugee. I was a child refugee. And the reason for that is because I was a Baha'i child being raised in Iran at the time that the Islamic Revolution happened. And between the ages of 7 and 15, I faced interrogation, I faced attempted kidnapping, I faced armed robbery, I faced torture on an ongoing basis. And so all that trauma as a child, all those human rights abuses, in my case as a child, have now resulted in this health challenge that is quite possibly going to just one day, when I have one of these attacks, I'm just not going to be able to breathe again and it's over. So having gone through that has made me more than ever before committed to promoting human rights and promoting education about human rights. I think there are two pillars to this new regime of human rights. One is legislation, one is education. But I feel that education plays a greater role. With all the respect to my friends who are working on legislation, and we must continue that. But I think education is one that will make this whole movement truly universal. And it is in that light that I wanted to talk about two possible approaches to education that will help us solidify our understanding of what it means to live in a world that is filled with peace. Because peace is not a destination, it's a journey. And it's a joyful journey. And it's closely tied and interlinked with human rights education. What I should mention before I start my points is that the two things I want to share. One is that although I went through human rights challenges and abuses in a country such as Iran that is now the world's only Shia theocratic system, I should say the reason why I'm alive today is because it was my Muslim friends who saved my life over and over again. It was my Muslim teachers at school who would come and tell me, they're coming for you again, the soldiers are coming, come and hide in my room. Or it was our Muslim neighbors who used to hide us in our basements when we were homeless, and they were after my parents because the execution order for my parents had been issued, and anyone, their photo had been published in the paper, and anyone who saw us was free to kill us because we had converted to the Baha'i faith from Islam. And it was the bravery and the courage of our Muslim friends that has resulted in us surviving that whole episode. So I want to encourage all of us to be alert about any form of human rights abuse we see and stand up for it, because right is right.
ये जो महिला बोल रही थी आपके बीच में, ये लंदन से आई हैं, यूके से आई हैं, और इसके पहले जो आपके बीच में कई लोग बोल रहे थे वो यूएसए से आए हैं. तो एक लॉर्ड किपलिंग थे, उन्होंने एक लिखा था जुमला, उन्होंने कहा था ईस्ट इज ईस्ट and west is west, and twain can't meet. Am I right? Okay. So now you see, twain are meeting here. UK is in the west, USA is in the west, and we are in the east, but we are meeting together. So, my dear friends, we are one, not only in spirit, but also we can go everywhere. Within 23 hours, we can traverse the पूरे ग्लोब का चक्कर हम 23 घंटे में लगा सकते हैं. कितनी मजे की बात है प्यारे बच्चों. आप कौन से एरा में पैदा हुए हैं? कहा था बहाउल्लाह ने, चिल्ड्रन ऑफ दिस एज विल बी वाइजर देन द सेजेस ऑफ द पास्ट. तो क्या वाइजर हैं कि आपने ऐसे जहाज बना लिए, आपने ऐसे उपकरण बनाए, गूगल बना लिया, तो क्या आप पीस नहीं ला सकते हैं दुनिया में, शांति नहीं ला सकते हैं? हम लोग जो आपको स्कूल में शिक्षा देते हैं, और आप लोगों को हमेशा आपको एक किताब दी है, रोल एंड गोल ऑफ एजुकेशन, इसमें लिखा है 16 नंबर पेज पे, 16 नंबर की कोटेशन है, नॉलेज इज प्रेजवर्दी ओनली व्हेन इट इज कपल्ड विद एथिकल कंडक्ट एंड ए वर्चुअस कैरेक्टर, अदरवाइज इट इज ए डेडली पॉइजन. शिक्षा तभी सही है और उसकी प्रशंसा की जानी चाहिए, जैसे कि हमारी बहन अभी बता रही थी ताहिरा दानेश, कि हम लोग एनकरेज करें दूसरों को, हर एक को एनकरेज करें. तो इसमें यह बताया गया है कि शिक्षा तभी सही होगी जबकि हम एनकरेज करेंगे, काहे के लिए? एथिकल कंडक्ट के लिए। जो मुझे अच्छा लगता है प्यार करना, मुझे कोई प्यार करे तो मैं भी दूसरे को प्यार करूं, है ना। अगर मुझे कोई से ये सुनना ज्यादा अच्छा लगता है कि तुम अच्छे हो, तुम बढ़िया हो, तुम्हारा ड्रेस बढ़िया है, तुम्हारा क्या कहते हैं बहुत बहुत कुछ बढ़िया है, एनकरेज करते हैं, गुड क्वालिटीज बताते हैं, तो हमारा भी फर्ज होता है कि हम दूसरे के साथ भी वैसा ही व्यवहार करें। सो एजुकेशन इज प्रेज वर्दी ओनली व्हेन इट इज कपल्ड विद एथिकल कंडक्ट, अदरवाइज इट इज ए जहर है, डेडली पॉइजन है।
A session on role of religion in development, insights from religious leaders, was chaired by Ms. Zena Sorabji, and the speakers include Mrs. B. Mohajir for the Baha'i faith, Bhikshu Pranas for the Buddhist, Bishop John Matthias for Christianity, Mahant Devyagiri for Hinduism, Maulana Khalid Rashid, the Sunni sect of Islam, Mr. Rajendra Singh Bagga for Sikhism.
I turn to the first speaker, Mrs. Mohajir, and request her to give her views.
Usually we think that religion is a system of belief, but in reality it is not. It is much more. Religion is a voluntary submission to a higher power. Maybe we call this power a living God, or cosmic force, or maybe a noble purpose. So religion is a joyous a joyous surrender of giving ourselves to a higher, more higher than ourselves. We know that search for a spiritual understanding has led humanity to seek the knowledge of God. While God is an honorable essence, which lies beyond the capacity of human understanding, the traces of God are revealed throughout creation and are most particularly reflected in the qualities of human spirit. The knowledge of God has been revealed through manifestation of God, the founders of the great world religions. The teachings of these individuals are basis of human progress, and all the great religions of the world were established through their teachings and principles.
तो फिर मुझे कहना पड़ेगा कि जिंदगी में चाहे जोश न हो, बात करने की भला होश न हो, लाख ऐब हो इंसान में पर एक एहसान फरामोश न हो। सिख रिलीजन में जहां तक डेवलपमेंट की बात है, जब गुरु नानक देव जी इस मातलुक में आए थे तो विशेषता भारतवर्ष में दो ही कौमें थी, एक थे हिंदू और एक थे मुस्लिम। जात के नाम पर आपस में बड़ा भेदभाव था। हिंदू कहते थे कि हमारा धर्म बड़ा है और मुसलमान भाई हमारे कहते थे कि हमारा धर्म बड़ा है। तो धर्म तो किसी का भी बड़ा नहीं होता है, क्योंकि रिलीजन जो है दैट इज मैन मेड कंसेप्ट। अंतर की बात तो कॉन्शियसनेस की होती है, स्पिरिचुअलिटी की होती है। तो गुरु नानक देव जी ने जो भ्रमित हुए लोग थे, जो गुमराह हुए लोग थे, उनको सीधे रास्ते पे लाने के लिए सबसे पहले उन्होंने एक उपाय ढूंढा, और उन्होंने उपाय ये किया कि डेवलपमेंट तभी हो पाएगी जब इन दोनों कौमों को यूनाइट करके रखा जाएगा, यहाँ कोई मानवता का संदेश दिया जाएगा। तो उन्होंने क्या किया, सबसे पहले जो जीवन की 4 यात्राएं शुरू की, उसमें उन्होंने एक अपना हिंदू साथी रखा और एक मुसलमान साथी रखा। कोई डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं किया। क्यों? कि वो पैगाम लेके आए थे परमपिता परमात्मा का, अल्लाह मियाँ का, ईश्वर का। वो क्या पैगाम था कि अवल अल्लाह नूर पाया कुदरत के सब बंदे। अवल अल्लाह नूर पाया